For more than 3,000 years, the galaxy believed it understood war. Empires rose. Empires fell. Stars burned, and planets died. But every conflict followed rules. Fleets gathered. Weapons fired. Victors claimed space. Survivors rebuilt. This balance kept the galaxy calm. Until the signal arrived. It began as a whisper at the edge of known space. A deep-range sensor station near the black void detected something impossible. Not a ship. Not a message. Not a distress call. It was a pulse. Slow, heavy, and powerful. Each wave carried energy levels far beyond any known engine. The station's crew froze. The signal was old. Very old. Ancient data scans showed the energy pattern had been traveling for decades, maybe longer. It had crossed dead systems, broken star lanes, and regions no ship dared to enter. And yet it was still strong. The commander of the station ordered an immediate transmission to the Galactic Council. Within minutes, the council chamber filled with panic. The Galactic Council was not a place of fear. It was a place of power. Hundreds of species sat within its massive hall, each one ruling worlds and fleets. They had crushed rebellions and erased civilizations without hesitation. But now, none of them spoke. A massive star map appeared above the chamber. A single glowing point pulsed near the galaxy's edge. It must be a natural phenomenon, one counselor said, trying to sound calm. No, replied another. Natural forces do not send structured pulses. The signal was decoded slowly. Every attempt to translate it failed. It did not follow any known language, math system, or code. Then the pulse changed. The room fell silent. The signal reorganized itself. Clear, sharp, intentional. It became a message. 3 words appeared in glowing symbols, auto-translated by ancient algorithms buried deep within Council archives. Hurricane-Class Battleship online. The chamber exploded into noise. What species uses that classification? Is this a threat? No record exists. Erase the signal. But it was too late. The message continued. Power readings spiked across the star map. Space itself began to bend around the signal source. Stars near the location dimmed, as if afraid to shine. Then something emerged. At first, it looked like a shadow tearing through reality. Then the shadow grew. A massive object pushed itself out of folded space. Not jumped. Not warped. It forced space to open. Gas clouds were torn apart. Gravity collapsed inward. Nearby asteroids shattered without being touched. The object was not shaped like any ship known to the galaxy. It was long, brutal, layered with armor thicker than city continents. No glowing markings. No decorative design. Only cold, silent metal. Its size was impossible. Some compared it to a small moon. Others refused to believe their sensors. The council watched in horror as the object stabilized itself in open space. Energy shields activated, not as barriers, but as pressure fields that crushed nearby debris into dust. Then came the silence. No weapons fired. No fleet followed. Just the ship. And then, a name surfaced. Buried deep in forgotten archives, an ancient record awakened. It was not filed under active species. It was labeled redacted. Extinction-level data. One council historian accessed it by accident. The word appeared on the screen. Earth. The room went still. Earth was a myth. A half-dead world from an ignored system. A species that rose quickly, fought brutally, and then vanished from galactic politics. Humans. They were never advanced enough for this, a counselor whispered. Another replied quietly, that is what we believed. The ship moved. Slowly, deliberately, it rotated, aligning itself toward the inner galaxy, toward populated space, toward trade lanes and homeworlds. The energy readings climbed again. Sensors began to fail. Communication arrays went dark. Even council systems flickered. This was not an attack. It was a warning. A new transmission opened automatically. No encryption. No delay. A human voice spoke. Calm. Cold. Controlled. This is Hurricane-Class Battleship Judgment of Terra. The name alone caused several species to collapse in shock. The voice continued. Earth has remained silent by choice. Images flooded the Council's displays. Human cities. Starship factories hidden inside asteroids. Fleets buried beneath moons. Weapons locked behind planetary shields. We warned the galaxy once, the voice said. You forgot. The Council tried to respond. No signal reached the ship. The voice spoke one final time. You have 17 seconds to observe. The transmission cut. The Hurricane-Class Battleship powered up. Not weapons. Reality itself began to shake. Stars dimmed. Time stuttered. And the galaxy finally understood a terrible truth. Earth had not entered the war. Earth had ended it, before it even began. The galaxy was still shaking. Not from explosions. Not from weapons. But from fear. Across hundreds of star systems, alarms kept sounding. Screens replayed the same image again and again. The massive human battleship floating in silence. Dark. Still. Waiting. The Galactic Council chamber was full. Yet no one spoke. The ship's name echoed in every mind. Hurricane-Class Battleship. No records. No legends. No warnings. Until now. High Counselor Virex finally broke the silence. Scan its history, he said. Find where it came from. Data streams flooded the room. Old archives opened. Forgotten signals surfaced. What they found made the room colder than space itself. The ship was not new. It was ancient. Built by humans. And hidden by them. Centuries earlier, Earth had been very different. Humans were not rulers. They were not feared. They were survivors. The galaxy had pushed them again and again. Raids. Threats. Silent wars no one admitted existed. So Earth did what it always did when cornered. It built something dangerous. Deep under the surface of a dead moon, human engineers worked in total silence. No records. No broadcasts. No allies. Even most humans did not know. They called the project Hurricane. Not because it was fast, not because it was violent, but because once released, nothing could stand after it. The ship was larger than any human city. Layer after layer of armor. Systems that did not rely on normal energy. Weapons that were not listed in any treaty. The engineers soon realized the truth. This ship was not meant to fight battles. It was meant to end them. Forever. When Hurricane-Class was completed, Earth's leaders gathered. Generals, scientists, civil heads of state. They saw the power reports, and they were afraid. One scientist spoke quietly. If this ship is ever used, he said, there will be no victory, only absence. That was when the decision was made. The ship would never fly. Hurricane-Class was sealed. Its location erased. Its builders sworn to silence. Some records were destroyed. Others were buried under false data. Earth chose restraint. They believed fear was better than regret. They believed the galaxy was safer not knowing. They were wrong. Back in the present, the Galactic Council watched as new information arrived. The ship activated itself, an analyst said. No external command. Virex's eyes widened. Self-awakening. Yes. Triggered by a threat pattern. A pattern matched only one thing. An extinction-level attack on Earth. The alien empire's invasion fleet was already moving. Millions of ships. Planet breakers. Thought to be unstoppable. Earth had not responded. No fleets. No threats. No speeches. Just silence. Now the galaxy understood why. Earth had not been ignoring the threat. Earth had been deciding. Inside the Hurricane-Class Battleship, systems awakened one by one. Ancient human code flowed through circuits older than most civilizations. The ship did not feel emotion, but it followed a rule written into its core. If Earth is threatened beyond recovery, respond absolutely. No diplomacy. No warnings. No limits. The ship did not contact Earth. Earth already knew. Across the planet, people looked up at the night sky. Some cried. Some prayed. Some simply watched. Because deep down, Humanity remembered the promise they made to themselves long ago. Never wake the hurricane unless there is no other choice. This was that choice. The Galactic Council erupted. They hid this from us, one delegate shouted. They hid it from themselves, another whispered. Scans showed the Hurricane-class moving slowly, but with purpose. Space bent around it, not violently, but as if reality made room. This ship breaks known physics, an analyst said. It is not forcing space. Space is yielding. Fear spread. Some species began pulling their fleets back. Others shut down borders. Ancient alliances collapsed in minutes. No one wanted to be near where the hurricane was going, because its path was clear. Straight toward the invading empire's armada at last, a transmission came. Not from the ship. From Earth. The signal was calm. Human. Tired. This is Earth, the voice said. We did not want this. The council listened in silence. We warned you not to corner us. We warned you not to make survival impossible. The voice paused. You chose not to listen. Then one final line. The hurricane was buried for a reason. The signal ended. The Hurricane-class battleship crossed the boundary into contested space. Enemy sensors struggled to track it. Target locks failed. Time readings desynced. Ships began losing formation without being touched. The Empire commanders finally understood. This was not a ship they could fight. This was a consequence. As the hurricane moved forward, stars dimmed around it. Not destroyed, just overshadowed. The galaxy held its breath. Because now they knew the truth. Earth did not unleash its greatest weapon to win. Earth unleashed it because losing was no longer acceptable. And the storm had only just begun. No one in the Galactic Council spoke. They all watched the same screen. The Hurricane-class battleship hung in space, completely still. It did not move. It did not aim. It did not warn. It was silent. That silence was worse than any weapon. The alien armada moved first. Thousands of warships surged forward, weapons glowing, engines screaming. The Empire had destroyed entire civilizations before. They believed this human ship would fall the same way. The first shots were fired. Beams of energy crossed space and struck the Hurricane-class hull. Nothing happened. No damage. No shield flare. No response. Some commanders laughed. Then space changed. Not exploded. Not burned. The space around the human ship began to bend, like glass under pressure. Stars behind it stretched into thin lines. Sensors across the fleet started screaming errors. Navigation systems failed. Targeting systems went blind. Time markers desynced. Commanders shouted at their crews, demanding answers. There were none. Inside the Hurricane-class battleship, no alarms sounded. No crew ran. No voices panicked. The ship was calm. Then a single line appeared on every alien screen. Engagement confirmed. 5 seconds. That was all it took. The first enemy ships vanished. Not destroyed. Not broken. They were simply gone. One moment they existed. The next moment, empty space. No wreckage. No energy signature. Just nothing. The front line of the alien fleet disappeared like it had never been there. Commanders froze. Before anyone could react, the second wave was hit. Space folded inward, crushing ships into invisible points. Some vessels stretched apart, torn between moments of time. Others aged thousands of years in a heartbeat and turned to dust. Crews died without knowing how. Screams flooded communication channels. Retreat! Shields are useless. This is not a weapon. The Hurricane-class battleship still did not move. It did not chase. It did not aim again. It simply existed. And that existence was killing them. The Galactic Council chamber fell into chaos. Representatives shouted over each other. Some demanded surrender. Others demanded more fire. But the Empire fleet was already broken. In just 5 seconds, over a third of the armada was erased. Not defeated. Erased. Then the battleship spoke again. A calm, human voice echoed across every channel, translated perfectly. This is your final warning. The Empire ignored it. Desperation replaced fear. They launched everything. Planet crackers. Star piercers. Weapons banned by ancient law. All aimed at the human ship. The Hurricane-Class responded for the first time. A low vibration rolled through space. Not sound. Pressure. Reality itself strained. A massive circular field expanded from the ship, slow and unstoppable. When it touched enemy vessels, space twisted inward. Entire squadrons collapsed into themselves. Stars near the battlefield dimmed. Gravity went mad. Time fractured. Some alien ships fired after they were already gone. The battlefield turned into a graveyard of absence. The Empire flagship tried to escape. Its engines burned beyond limits. It almost made it. Almost. Space closed around it like a fist. The flagship vanished mid-jump. Gone between 1 second and the next. Silence returned. Where once there had been thousands of warships, there was now empty darkness. The Hurricane-Class Battleship remained. Untouched. Unmoving. Watching. The Galactic Council finally understood the truth. This ship was not built to win wars. It was built to end them instantly. A small message appeared on the Council's main display. Human origin. Encrypted but simple. This was the minimum response. Fear spread across the galaxy. Because if this was minimum, what was maximum? Far from the battlefield, hidden deep inside the battleship, ancient systems powered down. The weapons slept again. For now. But the galaxy would never forget the first 5 seconds. And it would soon learn. Earth was not finished. No one in the galaxy understood what they were seeing. The Hurricane-Class Battleship did not move like normal ships. It did not rush forward. It did not chase enemies. It simply stayed where it was, floating in silent control, as if the battlefield itself had come to it. Inside the alien command fleets, panic spread fast. Sensors screamed warnings. Navigation systems failed one by one. Star charts began to flicker, then fade. Admiral Kethrix of the Dominion stared at the main display. His 4 eyes trembled. "Why is space bending?" he whispered. The screen showed something impossible. The stars near the human battleship were not exploding. They were not burning. They were folding inward, like paper being slowly crushed by an invisible hand. "This is not a weapon," one scientist said in horror. "This is a law of reality being rewritten." On the surface of the Hurricane-Class Battleship, deep inside its armored core, ancient systems awakened. Red symbols glowed. Energy reserves unlocked. A single status line appeared. Reality engine. Armed. The ship had not fired yet. That was the most terrifying part. Across the battlefield, alien fleets tried to escape. Thousands of ships jumped into hyperspace without orders. Others crashed into each other as space twisted around them. Some ships vanished instantly. No explosion, no debris. They were simply gone. Entire squadrons erased from existence. Admiral Kethrix shouted orders that no one could follow. "Pull back! Retreat all forces! Get away from the human ship!" But distance no longer mattered. The Hurricane-Class Battleship finally acted. No beam shot out. No missile launched. No sound was heard. Instead, space itself cracked. A visible line spread outward from the battleship, like a fracture in glass. Everything it touched began to stretch, distort, and collapse. Stars dimmed. Planets shook. Light bent into strange shapes. The galaxy watched in silence. The weapon did not destroy matter. It removed the space around matter. Ships caught inside the field were crushed from every direction at once. Armor meant nothing. Shields meant nothing. Even time seemed confused. Some crews experienced their final moments in a single second. Others were trapped in stretched time, screaming for help that would never come. Within moments, entire star systems were missing from the map. Not destroyed. Removed. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, leaders of dozens of species stared at the live feed. Many fell to their knees. Some turned away, unable to watch. "This cannot be allowed," a council elder said, his voice shaking. "No civilization should hold this power." Another answered quietly, "They already do. The human ship transmitted nothing. No warning. No threat. It did not need to. The galaxy finally understood something too late. Humans had not built the Hurricane-Class Battleship to win wars. They built it to end them. Back on Earth, deep beneath the planet's surface, a small group of human leaders watched the same feed. No one spoke. They had argued for centuries about this moment. Some had said the ship should never be used. Some had said it should be destroyed. Others had said it was necessary. Now it was awake. A young officer broke the silence. "Sir, should we tell them to stop?" The old commander shook his head slowly. "No," he said. "Not yet." In space, the alien armada was gone. Not defeated. Not scattered. Erased. The Hurricane-Class Battleship powered down its weapon. The fractures in space began to close, leaving behind empty darkness where stars once existed. The galaxy would never be the same. For the first time in recorded history, every major power felt the same emotion: fear. And somewhere in the vast silence, a single thought echoed through countless minds. If humans can do this, what else have they chosen not to use? The answer had not yet come. But it was coming. The galaxy was trembling. Everywhere, alien races whispered of the Hurricane-Class Battleship. Worlds that once believed themselves untouchable now felt small and fragile. Yet, amid all the panic, one question remained. Why had Earth stayed silent for so long? The alien leaders gathered in their shattered council chambers. Their ships, fleets, and starbases had been broken, some even erased from existence. Panic and fear filled their words. Earth, why did they wait? Why did they hide this power? One commander shouted, his voice trembling. His eyes darted to the sky, as if hoping the answer would appear in the stars. Meanwhile, far from the remnants of the destroyed fleets, the Hurricane-Class Battleship floated silently through space. It was calm now, its weapons dormant. The ship was massive beyond comprehension, but it seemed almost patient. Inside, Earth's human crew worked quietly. No celebration, no cheers. They moved with precision, knowing the power they wielded was dangerous. Every weapon, every system, every command was controlled by a single rule: never act unless the world faces complete destruction. The story of Earth's silence was not one of fear. It was a story of control. The Hurricane-Class Battleship had been built centuries ago, hidden away in deep space, far beyond alien eyes. Humanity had watched, quietly, as empires rose and fell. Wars had ravaged countless worlds. And each time, humans stayed out of the fight. Not because they could not fight. No. They stayed silent because they understood the consequence of their true strength. Only a few humans knew the full history of the ship. Legends passed down in secret, through generations, told of the time Earth had faced an unstoppable threat. One alien fleet had come close to annihilating humanity. The hurricane of death that humanity unleashed then was unlike anything the galaxy had seen. Entire star systems vanished in moments. But after that display, Earth had made a silent promise: never use this power unless absolutely necessary. Now, watching the galaxy crumble in fear, the aliens realized that promise had not been broken, it had only been waited upon. Humans did not rush to war. They did not attack without reason. Their silence had been their warning. Their patience had been the first weapon. In the council chambers, one alien diplomat tried to reason with others. Perhaps they are bluffing. Perhaps this is only one ship. Perhaps we can fight back. But deep inside, he knew it was futile. The Hurricane-Class Battleship had already proven what it could do. And if Earth chose to act fully, the galaxy would not survive another 5 seconds. Meanwhile, on Earth itself, the decision-makers watched the reports. They did not smile. They did not shout. They simply observed. Their communication was precise and short. One message was sent to the remnants of the alien fleets, simple, but filled with authority. You should not have come. Those 3 words carried a weight heavier than any weapon. They carried centuries of patience, preparation, and silent dominance. The humans did not need to explain themselves. The galaxy would understand. Alien fleets hesitated. Star systems that had once laughed at the humans now froze. Even the most aggressive empires understood that the choice to provoke Earth could mean total extinction. For decades, They had assumed that humans were ordinary, bound by similar rules as the rest of the galaxy. Now, they knew humans played a different game. Their power was absolute, and their patience was terrifying. Back on the Hurricane-Class Battleship, humans prepared for the next phase. They did not celebrate their victory. They did not revel in fear. Instead, they documented everything. Every system erased, every command executed, every star destabilized. They recorded it all. For Earth, this was not revenge. This was responsibility. They were the guardians of a power that no other race could control. And with such power came a rule. Silence was their shield, and patience their weapon. The galaxy, for the first time, began to rethink its history. They had underestimated Earth for centuries. They had treated humans like any other civilization. But one ship, one moment, had proven that human patience was more dangerous than any war fleet. Legends would be told across the stars, but only the humans truly understood the cost of their own silence. In the quiet of space, the Hurricane-Class Battleship drifted. Systems hummed softly. Lights blinked in rhythm. The humans aboard did not speak loudly. They did not need to. Their silence was louder than any scream, louder than any explosion, louder than the cries of the galaxy itself. And as the alien fleets retreated, leaving behind the wreckage of their arrogance, one truth became clear. Earth had not needed to fight. Earth had only needed to wait. The galaxy would never forget. And neither would the humans. Silence had been their choice. And now, the galaxy knew. Silence could be more deadly than war. The galaxy was silent. The screams and chaos of the alien fleets had faded, replaced by a heavy, trembling quiet. Worlds that had once held empires were now empty, their maps blank, their histories erased. The Hurricane-Class Battleship drifted through space like a shadow of judgment. Its weapons were quiet, yet the fear it carried still echoed across the stars. Alien leaders gathered in the ruins of what had once been their most powerful fleets. They had come with pride, thinking their numbers, their technology, their fleets would be enough to dominate humanity. Now, they faced the terrifying truth. Earth's power was not just a weapon. It was a promise of destruction that could erase entire civilizations in seconds. A council of alien diplomats met in a floating chamber above the remains of a destroyed star system. The walls were cracked, the floors littered with debris. Each diplomat spoke in whispers, their voices trembling. We cannot fight them," said one, a trembling figure from the Korvax sector. His claws shook as he held the communication device. They destroyed 10 of our fleets without even moving their main weapon fully. Another alien, from the Zalari Dominion, shook his head. It is worse than that. They did not even act in anger. This was just a warning. If they wanted, they could erase every star in this cluster. Every planet. Every life. The realization hit them all like a cold wave. Humanity had not only shown its power, they had shown restraint. The Hurricane-Class Battleship could have destroyed everything, yet it paused. Humans did not rush to conquer. Humans did not boast. Humans did not kill for pride. Humans waited. And now, waiting was a weapon more terrifying than any fleet or weapon they had ever known. The aliens sent messages of surrender. Across the galaxy, fleets stopped in mid-flight. Starbases powered down. Colonies stopped production. Even independent pirate groups that once thrived in the void fell silent. The message was clear. No one dared oppose Earth anymore. In the midst of this, the humans aboard the Hurricane-Class Battleship monitored every system. They recorded the responses. They observed, but they did not celebrate. There were no fireworks, no cheering. Humans had learned long ago that the galaxy could not be changed through anger or fear alone. Control came through patience and precision. They had reminded the galaxy of their place, and that alone was enough. Alien fleets began sending emissaries, begging for mercy. Some spoke humbly, their voices cracking under the weight of fear. Others offered riches, technology, and territory in exchange for survival. The humans listened, and then they spoke once, clearly, and without emotion. "You should have respected silence." The words sent a shiver through the galaxy. Those who had survived looked at their empty fleets, their destroyed planets, their broken empires. They knew this was not just a warning. It was a lesson. Humanity did not need to rule to be unstoppable. Humanity did not need to fight to end wars. Humanity had chosen restraint, and restraint had become absolute power. Some alien leaders tried to argue, to negotiate, to find loopholes. But humans did not answer their pleas. They only moved quietly through space, maintaining their systems, scanning for threats, and ensuring the Hurricane-Class Battleship remained ready. The galaxy realized something chilling. There was no limit to human patience. Wait long enough, and Earth's judgment would arrive, whether the galaxy was ready or not. Even among those who survived, stories began to spread. Tales of fleets disappearing, of entire planets erased, of councils left in ruins. These stories were whispered from system to system, growing in horror with every retelling. Legends of human power began to replace old myths. Children learned that provoking Earth was not bravery, it was suicide. Scholars wrote of the Hurricane-Class Battleship as a symbol of absolute authority. The galaxy was not just afraid. The galaxy had learned obedience. Yet, the humans remained calm. Their work continued aboard the ship. Engineers adjusted systems, commanders checked reports, and crews trained quietly. They had not yet reached the point of full engagement. They had not yet unleashed everything they could do. The lesson had been taught, but the final warning was still unspoken. The galaxy, now trembling, began to change its ways. Borders were redrawn, alliances shifted, and even the most aggressive empires started to show caution. Every civilization knew one truth. Earth was no longer a distant, silent planet. Earth was a force of judgment, patient and absolute. And as the Hurricane-Class Battleship drifted into the void, the humans aboard looked ahead. Their silence had spoken louder than war. Their patience had reshaped the galaxy. And the aliens understood that the future of the stars was no longer theirs to command. The galaxy begged. And Earth listened, not for mercy, not for glory, but for balance. Because in the end, humans did not need to conquer. They only needed to wait. The galaxy had changed forever. Silence had fallen over worlds that once roared with power. Fleets no longer chased one another through the void. Councils no longer shouted orders in arrogance. Even the smallest planets whispered about the Hurricane-Class Battleship, the human weapon that could erase them all. Humanity had proven that patience was more deadly than war, and that silence could command obedience stronger than any army. The Hurricane-Class Battleship moved through space with quiet precision. Its hull gleamed against the backdrop of distant stars. Inside, humans moved with calm purpose, their faces serious, their minds sharp. No one spoke unnecessarily. Every action, every decision, every calculation was deliberate. They had shown the galaxy their strength. Now, they would leave a mark that no civilization could ever forget. Before turning back toward deep space, the humans activated a system designed for one purpose: to leave a warning. It was simple, but powerful. A message inscribed across the stars, visible to any who might follow or threaten Earth in the future. It read, "Earth does not rule the galaxy. Earth ends wars." The message spread through light signals and pulses, bouncing across the void, reaching every corner of the galaxy. Stars themselves seemed to carry it. Alien civilizations that had survived stared in awe, their communications silenced by the weight of human authority. They knew this was not a threat in anger. It was a statement of truth. Back on Earth, leaders monitored the galaxy's reactions. They observed fleets slowing, empires re-evaluating their plans, and colonies that once thrived now pausing in fear. The message had worked. The galaxy understood. There would be no more reckless wars against humanity, not because humans wanted to dominate, but because the cost of provocation had become unthinkable. Legends began to grow instantly. Across star systems, aliens told stories of the single planet that could erase fleets with one command. They spoke of the humans who did not fight for glory, who did not boast, who did not conquer for power. Instead, they acted only when absolutely necessary, and their patience had become the deadliest weapon of all. Even the most hardened warlords began to show caution. Pirate gangs that once thrived on chaos now moved carefully. Diplomats from aggressive empires approached cautiously, offering peace, tribute, or alliances in exchange for survival. Every action, every choice, was measured against the memory of what had happened when humans unleashed even a fraction of their power. The Hurricane-Class Battleship continued its silent journey. It did not linger to watch the galaxy bend under fear. Humans had a long history of observing, learning, and preparing. Their patience was endless. They knew that even if the galaxy tried to rebuild, they would always be ready. The Hurricane-Class Battleship was not just a weapon. It was a guardian, a symbol, and a reminder. In deep space, far beyond the reach of any star map, the ship turned toward the unknown. Humans aboard it trained, studied, and prepared quietly. They had shown restraint, yet they were always ready. Their message had been delivered, yet it carried an unspoken warning. Provoke humanity, and the galaxy would face consequences that no technology, no strategy, and no alliance could survive. The aliens understood this clearly. They had glimpsed the full scope of human power, yet the humans had not even unleashed their full might. They had only waited, only watched, only reminded the galaxy of a simple truth. Earth's patience was infinite, and Earth's judgment was absolute. As the light of the Hurricane-Class Battleship faded into the void, the galaxy felt a new order settle among the stars. There would be no more reckless wars. No more arrogant empires rising without caution. Humanity's shadow would stretch across the cosmos, not as rulers, but as the ultimate guardians. And somewhere, in the quiet corners of space, the stars carried the human message like a silent warning. Earth does not rule the galaxy. Earth ends wars. The galaxy understood, and humanity remained calm. For the first time in centuries, the universe knew that the ultimate power was not in fleets or weapons. It was in patience, strategy, and the quiet strength of humans who had mastered both. The Hurricane-Class Battleship moved further into the unknown, carrying its crew, its secrets, and its warnings. The galaxy would remember this day forever. Not as a battle, not as a war, but as the moment when humanity revealed the truth. The stars belong to all who respect them. But no one dares threaten Earth. Silence had spoken. Patience had ruled. And the galaxy would never forget the warning left in the stars.